Welcome to another episode of the Do Not Resuscitate podcast. We hope you all are enjoying your week, your weekend, or whatever it may be. We hope that you guys hear something that you like and that you will always come back to chill with your girls. We're going to jump right into these introductions.
Hey y'all, it's the D and DNR. I'm Denise, your favorite redhead, your favorite runway model.
Hey everybody, it's Nichole, the N and DNR.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Ruthia, aka your favorite fat girl. How y'all been feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great. Every day above ground is another day. Another day, another dollar, okay?
That's what's up.
I'm just tired. Just working with this this new position. It's just been a lot over the last couple of weeks, but I'm good.
How are you doing?
I'm cool. Hungry, but I'm cool.
Same.
Yeah. So this week's topic is technically a part 2, where we told y'all in the beginning we were going to be diving deep. So this is another Dear Diary episode. We just want to jump right into it with Miss Nichole.
All right. So, Dear Diary, I always wanted to be a daddy's girl, but seemed like that didn't work out for me. I'm gonna give you a little background. So, my parents were actually high school sweethearts, and then that didn't work. So then they went their separate ways, and then my mom married, and then divorced. So when they got back together, my mom had just went through a divorce, and so they got pregnant with me, and then they gave me her ex-husband's last name, which was like a super, super white last name. And then eventually my parents got married, but they never changed my last name. So that was always kind of like a sore thing for me, because I'm trying to figure out, like, why wouldn't you guys change my name to your name, because now you two have the same last name.
Right.
And so
like
right, and I was feeling like the eyeball, and I always wanted my dad's attention. You know, I would do anything to get my daddy's attention, because I don't know why having his attention was so important to me. But my dad, which, let me just say this, we have no issues today. We've talked through everything. I don't have any, we don't have any issues. Like, we good. Like, I talk to him all the time, and we do a lot of things together. So we good, but you still sometimes have a little bit of leftover from when you were a child. So my dad, he worked third shift, and he would be responsible to pick me up from school, and he will always forget me at school. So to this day, I have issues with, like, if you tell me you're gonna come and pick me up at a certain time, and if you say you're gonna pick me up at 6 and you're not there at 6, I'm a snap. Like, I'm gonna completely lose my mind, because it's like it takes me back to that. Even though it wasn't intentional, he was working third shift. That wasn't his intent. But he also never would give me the attention that I really needed from him. And so my dad had 2 kids. So I do have a sister who we are a month apart. I'm a month older than her.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So,
same situation.
And so he had 2 girls at the same time. And my dad was never interested in girls. He wanted a boy. And here you got these 2 little girls. I ain't thinking nothing about being athletic, because I'm not.
You ain't play with G.I. Joes?
I mean, I might have played with G.I. No, I was a girly girl. I walked on my tiptoes because I didn't want my feet to get dirty. Okay. So yeah, I was prissy or whatever.
Right.
Right. So here he is with these two girls. He wanted boys. Now my other sister was into sports, but then her mom moved them back. They were originally from Oklahoma, so they moved back there. So now she's there, but she's in sports there. I'm here. I'm not athletic. I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna write some poetry, or I was that kid, writing my notebook, play with my dolls. I was a girly girl, but I wanted my daddy's attention. But my dad. He was spoiled. My grandmother spoiled him a lot, and so I think he kind of didn't even know how to relate to us, and so he just didn't. Now the things that he did do was like we did travel a lot, like because he worked for Miller for a long time, so he had a lot of vacation. So he would travel us a lot, but he still wouldn't give us that attention, and all he would do was like fuss at us, yell at us, and I would just be like, all I want is my daddy to love me. And so of course as I began to get older, now it turns into resentment because I wanted his attention. I tried to play basketball. Again, I am not athletic.
Ooh, sounds like me.
One bit, but I was doing everything possible to get my dad's attention. So, and then he would, as I got a little bit older, he then had a girlfriend, and he would take me and my sister, drop us off at her house, and then he would go do whatever it was that he would do. So now the girlfriend is taking care of us. Again, still not the attention from my dad. Well, then when I think got about 12, she died in a motorcycle accident while we were in her care. She had left us at a friend's house, and
wow.
And it was so strange because I remember that day because we had taken pictures. Never got those pictures, never seen those pictures after that happened. But that day, she took us to her friend's house, and her friend's boyfriend was going to take her for a motorcycle ride. And I kept begging her, please don't go. Like, you know how you just had that feeling that something, I could feel that something was wrong and something was going to happen. And sure enough, they ended up getting into a motorcycle accident, and she died. He did not, but she died. And so, again, I'm thinking now, okay, my dad sees like the pain we're in, how we're feeling, and that, maybe now he'll give us the attention that because both me and my sister were feeling the same way. But then the next thing that happens, my sister, for whatever reason, they petitioned for my sister's last name to be changed, but they still don't change mine. I don't know that part because I'm 12 years old, but now they changed my sister's name, so now she has the same last name as my mother and dad, but she's the side chick baby. But I'm super close to my sister, so no, don't mean nothing towards her. But I still have this separate name.
Yeah,
so
I can only imagine again how that made you feel as a child.
So it's like, why haven't y'all changed my name? Like, why did y'all go through all this to change her name, but you guys still haven't changed my name? And I'm growing up with this name that really doesn't belong to me, and this name is also on my birth certificate. And then at some point in it, my dad was denying that I'm his. Now, if you see him, you see me, we the same. I look a lot like my father. So, just struggling with those things and not really having my dad's attention and just not really being able to build a true, genuine relationship with him, or the relationship that I wanted to have with my dad, because I know deep inside that I was built to be a daddy's girl, but I just never was given that opportunity. So now I come into my teenage years, and now I'm angry and I want my dad's attention. And so then where do you think that takes me? Now I'm getting attention from boys.
Right. Getting the wrong attention.
The wrong attention. And I wasn't a fast girl, but I was, I was curious. And then I had a mama who was always, boys are stupid, and you better stay in this house. You know what I mean? A strict mama that, I don't know, like, how could you really be strict when you work a second shift? Right. So that means we're home alone. But you know what I mean? But she was a strict, and she wasn't a mama that would answer questions. Like, if you had questions, it was just, she was a do as I say mama, not as a do as I do mama. And so,
don't ask me no questions because I'm the adult,
I'm
you're
the boss.
child.
And she would always say, exactly, I'm the boss of you. So of course now I'm getting wanting this attention. So I meet these boys at the mall, and of course I want I pick the one who I think is cute or whatever. So at 14, 15, I lost my virginity.
Okay.
And then I meet another guy. So then, I did have a stepfather, but my stepfather was rough. Like he was in the street. You know, he came from a super rough family. So my stepfather was a thug.
Okay.
So I was helping him do something, and I met his nephew. So that then became, you know, my boyfriend for a while, or whatever. And then that ended, and then I got with my son's dad. And I think it was like the first time I ever was with him, I ended up getting pregnant with my son. So I was afraid, of course. So I hid my pregnancy.
Oh.
I was 7 months pregnant before my parents found out I was pregnant. And then my dad tried to force me to go to New York to get an abortion.
Oh.
At 7 months.
At 7 months. And my mom said, no, we're not doing that. So then I said, well, I'm going to get the baby up for adoption. My mom said, we don't give our babies away. White people do that. We don't do that. So you're not giving nothing up, and you going to take care of this baby. You know, but it was just, I had a 16-year-old mind. You know what I mean? So, of course, I didn't really want to give up my baby. I just didn't.
You didn't know.
I just didn't know what to do. You know, obviously with a 16-year-old mind, the fact that here I am pregnant with this baby and I don't tell anybody, that's a 16-year-old mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just immature, being afraid, and, you know, all of those type of things. So then I have the baby. Couldn't locate his father, and finally I located his dad when he was about 7 weeks old, because I did tell him I was, you know, pregnant early on, but he didn't care. So I had this baby, and I'm doing the best that I could do. You know, I still graduated from high school on time.
Period. Okay.
Everything. My mom, she definitely did help me with that. She would go get the work, bring the work home. I do the work. She'd take it back until I could go back.
Okay.
You know, to school or whatever. So I walked across the stage with a baby on my hip, and then my dad, he then meets my bald head ass stepmama that I don't like. And they had a baby. So my son and my brother are 8 months apart. So my brother is 8 months older than my son.
Sheesh.
And so basically my dad took care of, he would babysit for me. You know, he would keep my son with my brother.
Yeah.
So then I started to see, like, my dad developing this relationship with these two boys that I didn't have with my dad that I wanted. So he's raising my son, and he's having a relationship with my son that I wanted to have with him, because my son is athletic. My son was bad as shit as a little boy. He was so bad. He used to get into everything. You know, but, you know, my dad was just having this relationship. And I was jealous, but not to where I would try to stop them from having a relationship. But, you know, I just had like
that feeling inside, like, now you're giving my son what I wanted, what I always longed for. Yeah. And now I had a baby who is this boy that you always wanted.
Right.
Did you ever express that to your dad?
Later, we had a good long, you know, conversation, but that was later, and that was only maybe 8-9 years ago that we had that deep conversation. So our relationship just was mended 8 or 9 years ago. So that's still, you know, that's a good while ago, but that's still kind of, you know, kind of new or whatever compared to I went 40 years without, you know, a good relationship. So of course I'm angry, so I'm acting out. So like, you know, I was super angry with my dad. Like, we would come almost to blows. Like, I was just straight disrespectful. I would just be like, nigga, you did blah, you know what I mean? And just, that's how I was talking to my dad, because it was really truly out of anger. It really wasn't out of I hated him. It's just I loved him and I wanted everything from him, and I didn't get it. So I would express it in anger. You know,
nothing says I love you like nigga.
Right. But like, it would be bad. Exactly. But it would be so bad, and it was really bad. You know, like it was like when I look back, I was like, girl, he should have knocked all your damn teeth out your head. You know what I'm saying? Being that disrespectful. So with that said, then that leads me into my relationship with men. So my ex-husband was a lot like my father in terms of he didn't give me the attention that I needed or wanted. And it's crazy because over the years I began to fool myself to believe that, oh, I don't like flowers, because I knew I wasn't going to get them no way. Right. So I would fool myself to be like, I don't like them, or I don't really need that much attention, because I wasn't going to get it anyway. So I had kind of like tricked myself. We definitely do that
as women, fool ourselves into thinking that, oh, that's okay, I don't need to go out. It's okay. He's at home with me, so we don't need to go out. When in reality, I do want to go out sometimes. I don't want to be sitting up here looking at you all day, every day. Right. It would be nice to get dressed and go to dinner every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that you need to take me out every day, but it would be nice to go outside with my mate sometimes.
Absolutely. There is a part that I missed. So there was some domestic abuse in my mom and my dad's relationship. So I remember me and my sister, my older sister, because I have two sisters, me and my older sister hiding under the bed because there was a physical altercation. And my dad, again, he worked third shift, so I can't remember, was it the same night or a couple nights later, or how, I don't know the time period, but I remember being asleep and my mom coming in our room and waking us up and saying, "Get up, we leaving." And my aunties came over and they boyfriends came over and they packed up everything in the house. And when we left, my dad, when he came home, he didn't have nothing. Not nothing in the refrigerator, not nothing on the wall.
Black people don't even usually pack that good.
They don't.
I'm talking about,
it was the fed the fuck up.
I'm talking about nothing. There was nothing when he came back. My mom didn't leave nothing. And then we were like hidden for like 6 months. About 6 months. And so me and my sister were outside playing, and somebody who knew my dad saw us. And then went back and told him where we were. And then I remember him coming over there, and my aunties jumped on him.
So do you feel like it was a fear? Did you have a fear of your dad because of seeing that relationship with him and your mom?
No, because I only remember that one incident. Mm-hmm. But my understanding is that there were other incidents, but that's the only one that I remember. So I didn't have that fear of him. Or you know what? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I did, because I was always like, I will always be like, you know what I mean, when I see him, like maybe I didn't have that fear, but maybe I felt like I had to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm. You had to defend yourself, I mean,
before it could ever get that way, to be like, yeah, put your hands on me, nigga. It's gonna be. You get what I mean? Yeah. So maybe deep inside, I did have that without realizing that that's what that
had a natural trigger response.
Right. Exactly. So. So now I meet my ex-husband, and it was so strange because my ex-husband, I feel like he was a combination of my dad in terms of being like absent and not being there for him when I needed him, and then my stepfather of being like the rough side of being off into the street. So I think I had combined those two experiences into this one person. And so I when I met my husband, I had went on to have a second baby. So then I had my daughter when I was 20. And so here I am, a 20-year-old with two kids, two different fathers. And I was with her dad for a couple of years, but then he was a chronic cheater. He couldn't stop. He just could not get it together. So finally, when my daughter got about 4, she was about 3 or 4, I left him. And I moved back home with my mom. And I was I was going through a hard time, because here I am, I was 23. I'm 23 years old. I have 2 kids, 2 different fathers. And I was poor. You know what I mean? I remember having to walk my son to school, carry my baby in my arms, because niggas don't shovel snow. Right. I had to walk. I had to walk him to school, go back and get him midday with my newborn baby. And I was just like, I'm not doing this. Mm-hmm. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, we're poor. We got one car. You screwing everybody, anything. And I'm just not going to do this. So then I left. So then And I found myself, I kept falling back at the pattern. So then I dated this other guy who I had dated previously, and that just didn't work because the familiar. Yeah. He really was a good dude, but I just wasn't mature enough to understand it at that time, because I had these kids so young, and now I wanted to kick it. And he was a little bit more settled, and he wanted to be at home. And I was like, I don't want to be home. I want to go out and have these damn kids. I'm trying to, whatever. So then I meet my husband, ex-husband. And it used to be wild. Me and him, we would be wild, driving, drinking, just stupid stuff. I'd be at the after hours. I'd be at the club. Then at that time in my life, I was a terrible mother. But they were young, and so they really don't remember or whatever. And then I lived upstairs from my mom, so my mom would, watch my kids, and I would just party all the time. And I would wait till they go to sleep. I would party, and I'd run in the house in the morning and jump in my pajamas, act like I'd been home with them, stuff like that.
But did they die?
No, they didn't. They was
You wasn't
fine.
a terrible mother then.
They didn't have, they had no clue. But I was like, at that time, I think that I was using alcohol was my scapegoat. I could drink any man undertake. I could drink in any combination of drinks and not pass out or whatever. So alcohol was my, is what I would do to kind of take away, I guess, the pain that I was feeling. So then now I meet this guy, and, he in the street, he wild, he not judging me because he wild, so we would be in fights in the club, just all type of craziness, right? Like, it was total, complete chaos with us, and, just super toxic. So then we're together maybe 6 months, but he giving me everything I want, cars, money, whatever, the stuff that young girls be looking for. And he goes to prison. That's my nigga. I'm gonna hold my nigga down. Just stupid.
Right.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
And that's my man, and I'm gonna stick beside him.
Right. And he did this for me, and he did that. But see, it was like, in hindsight, obviously I understand it. It was kind of like a pimp mentality.
You felt obligated.
I'm going to give her everything she need, and then she going to owe me.
You felt obligated.
So then, exactly. So then now I'm feeling obligated. So he go for maybe 6 months. And then I hold him down through the whole time. And then he come out, and then we jump right back into the chaos. So then eventually now we end up, we living together. He was like, you need to move out your mama. You know how I go. So I move out or whatever. And now he's there, and it's still chaos. But, I'm having fun. And then I think we were together. We were together a long time. We were actually married when the hitting came. Then he started putting his hands on me. And it was like of course, how we justify stuff. It wasn't he beat me up. It was we would be in her fight. We would be in her fight because I'm just as tall and big as he was. So we would be in her fight, but he's still a man. He gon' beat me up. But it would be like more of he knew I have like claustrophobia. So he would hold me down and lay on my face.
Oh.
And I would be going berserk. What?
Because that's a manipulation.
Very much so.
So
I'm a visual person.
So you said the abuse started when you got married.
After we were married. Yep.
There was no red flag that you ignored prior to that?
I'm pretty sure.
You don't recognize now.
It would be like jealousy. Like I'm like, okay, so we started out as friends, and then it flipped into a relationship, right? And so it's like as soon as it was like, okay, we're now in a relationship, it was like he flipped into jealousy versus before he had women, I had men, and we would talk about it. But as soon as we agreed we were in a relationship, it's something that him flipped, and he did become jealous. And then it would be accusations of, you was with this person, was you with that person, and I would be
was
like,
there
what
any
are you talking about?
isolation?
No, because I didn't play. He couldn't isolate me. I didn't play that shit. My mama came to my house every day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because that's how the kind of mama I had. So, no, it wasn't any isolation. But it definitely, I would see, like, as I look back, jealousy. Mm-hmm. He was super jealous. And I would be like, for what? Because I'm super loyal. Like, I'm a super loyal person. And I'm like, what would you be jealous about? Like, I don't even be doing nothing. Like, you know. And then it would be like, you know, want to go through my phone, want to go with it. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? So, but of course, I'm immature, young-minded. I'm like, oh, he just loved me. No. He was manipulating me. And then he's 5 years older than me. So I'm 23, he's 28. You know what I mean? So he, you know, he was slowly, you know, manipulating me or whatever. So then now he putting his, you know, his hands on me, holding me down. And that make me go crazy because I'm like, but of course he
knew your triggers.
Right. And I couldn't get from under him. And you know what I mean? And it was just it was just crazy. So then I had told his mom, and I was like, look, your son put his hands on me, and I don't like that, and I don't, you know, I'm just not with it. And his mama's response was, girl, you don't let no nigga put their hand, you better take something and knock that nigga upside his head. She was like, I don't care if that's my son or not. You knock that nigga in his damn head. And then she talked to him. She was like, you don't put your hands on nobody. But now stuff is starting to come out that he has a history of abuse. He had used to jump on his other girlfriends before me.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well, I wish I would have I wish I would have known that. You guys would have told me or whatever. Or not even that. It's not, I can't put it on them. That's on me. I should have paid attention to the red flags, but I didn't.
Thank God for CCAP.
Okay.
You know what? It wasn't. Remember, I'm older. We didn't have that.
That's why I said, like, thank God for now.
Yeah, we didn't have that because I met him in '96. So then me and him was still partying and drinking or whatever. But then I started to notice, like, his drinking would be different than mine. It's like he would become violent after he would drink. He would be making all these type of accusations, and I was just like, you know, maybe we should slow down on drinking because it seemed like something is changing in you. And I, you know, I get drunk and just be happy. You know what I mean? I be happy all the time. So then I just started noticing other little things like, where's the money for the light bill? Where the money at?
So you drinking the
like
money
you
away?
Out hustling, but I ain't no money came in the house. You know, so then I started noticing other things like I'll go in the closet and all the hangers was broken. Why do we got broken hangers? Help me understand this. Then it was, why don't none of the pens in the house got the ink in them? What is this stuff all over the floor? So I started to like, that's okay, but I was too, because it took me some time to be like, what is it? So then I like did some research because I didn't know nothing about that. I had never, I wasn't even never really a weed smoker. I think I smoked when I was like 19, 20, but that just was, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what is going on? So I start researching and I find out that the hanger is the stuffer for the
he couldn't have used just one. He had to break them all.
What'd you do? You gonna save it? Hell no, you're not thinking about saving. You just think about, I need this so I could get high.
The next hit.
You know what I mean? Right. So he would break the hanger and then you stuff the pipe and then they put the little, I don't know exactly like the order or whatever, but they basically it was for smoking crack.
You don't know the order.
No, like I never seen him use it. Nothing. He never did anything in front of me, but he was doing it because then I had realized like it was like certain smells that I would be like, what is that smell? Something burning. It smell weird, you know, type of thing. And so what happened is the alcohol was triggering, like he would get, you can only get so high of alcohol that he need to get higher. And so then once I started to realize what it was, I confronted him and I was like, are you using drugs? And then he was like, what are you talking about? You know how they do that defense and get all mad, but so you really know that what you asking them is true. And so, he denied it at first. And he had hid it from me because he already was using drugs before we even got married. And we had been together 5 years before we got married.
He hid that well.
So he hid that he was a functioning, like he was a binger.
Okay.
So he could go months without doing anything. And then all of a sudden he would binge for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And so then once he realized, like, I knew, then I felt like he tried to hide it less. So he, like, again, I never seen him do the drugs. I never seen it in the house, but I knew he was in the house doing it because you could smell it. Or like I would wake up out of my sleep and I would smell that smell, and then I already knew that I wasn't going to sleep for the rest of the night. So if you've never seen somebody high, it's one of the most like scariest things you ever want to see somebody transform from who they are to, like, he would look like a monster. He would look like the devil. Like the devil would be on his face almost. And so I spent many nights awake because you get paranoid.
Yeah.
So he would be paranoid. He would be up all night long, walking the house, sweating, looking out the windows, making accusations, going through my phone, trying to check my body, saying I had a guy in the house, those type of things. So I would sometimes have to go to work and never been to sleep the night before because I had been up all night with him, being high and being paranoid and just straight out just tripping. And this went on for a long time, kept trying to get him, put him in rehab, and then he would leave the rehab and then put him back in the rehab. And all of this is going, of course, now the abuse is getting worse and worse. Like it's becoming, like it's not just in the house now. Now it's like one time I was outside doing something, and I think one of his friends happened to pull up, is he here? No, he not here. And then as he was pulling away, he was pulling up, so he assumed I had something going on and slapped me, like, in front of everybody, the whole outside. You know what I mean? Then it was just getting, like, it was bad. And so then now we live, I think we were living upstairs from his mom at this point. And so he had left probably to go get high again. And it was so many nights that he would not know that I would call his mom and she'd be like, come downstairs, because it's the last place he would look. He high. He don't want his mama to see him high. You know what I mean? So she would be like, Nikki, come downstairs. So I would go downstairs and I would be in the bed with his mama, and he would be roaming the city trying to figure out where I was, and I would literally be in the house, but I would be, downstairs with his mom. And then
was there ever a fear that he would do something to the kids?
No. For whatever reason, no, because he didn't. He didn't want the kids to think bad of him. So he was very good to the kids. That's weird, right? But he was super good to the kids, but it just was me that he was, doing all of this stuff to. And, of course, I hid it in the house that we lived in initially. Like, our room was downstairs and their room was upstairs.
Okay.
And then the door would close. Like, he would never, like, he would walk the house all night downstairs, but he would never go upstairs. He would never, like, go into their rooms, or he would never. So a lot of times I would have to, like, I would barricade myself in the room so I could try to get some sleep and try to rest. And it was just like the behavior, like what people do when they on drugs is wild. Like, you just wouldn't think that people would do that. So we had went to Green Bay to visit. His friend had a girlfriend up there, so we went to visit up there, and they got high. The friends. I'm thinking, we going to somebody's house, you're not gonna do that. They got high, and he left me in Green Bay.
Oh.
Took all the money, took my car, and left me in Green Bay to get back to Milwaukee so that they could go get some more dope, because they didn't have no more dope.
Wow.
So I had to call one of my friends to send me money to get to get on the bus to get home. And then literally so I'm on the bus with luggage. So I get to to the bus station, but now I got to take the bus home. So I'm on the bus with luggage, struggling, And I literally get off the bus and he drive like right past me, and I'm standing at the bus stop like
what the hell? Hello, motherfucker.
Right. And then of course with this came, it was a lot of women. Then I got nervous. Like I had to stop having sex with him because I'm like, what if he dope dating? You know what I mean? What if he's sleeping with other women? Or, I mean, you know what people do. I don't know. You know, when people want some dope, you don't know what they going to do. Because it had got to the point where I had started, like, hiding my money. Like, I wouldn't even, like, if I get paid, I would leave, like, my debit card or whatever. I would leave it at work in my desk so that he couldn't get to my money. I've had my lights cut off because of him. I had, you know what I'm saying? It's been like crazy stuff that, you know, has happened in my life, but it's like it was hard, but I've looked at like, I'm here though.
Mm-hmm. How old were you?
I was with him from, I met him in 96. We was married in 2000. And I divorced him in 2008, but then I did go back and forth for a long time. I'm going to admit that. So off and on, I was with him for about 15 years. 15, maybe even 20.
Why do you think you stayed?
Low self-esteem. He had broke me all the way.
So did he ever, like, other than you just telling yourself, you know, I'm not good enough, nobody else is going to want me, did he ever physically tell you, like, I'm the only one that's going to want you?
No, he didn't. But he had broke me down so low
just
that he didn't have to say
things.
it. Yeah, he didn't have to say it.
All the other things,
and then he would call me fat. You know what I mean? It was always, you fat bitch, or you fat, you this, you that, like, stuff like that. But never, like, you know, like, never, like, don't nobody else want you. Like, for whatever reason, he didn't have to say it because he had already...
Yeah.
I was already so low, what difference do it make?
Dude,
you know what I mean? He didn't have to say it. Huh?
He a whole dope fiend talking about you fat. Like,
Exactly. So, yeah. But it was so weird because even despite the fighting and the abuse, I wasn't scared of him. I mean, I know I probably was going to get beat up, but I would be fighting. We would just be in there. The whole house would just be tore up. You know, and then that was another thing. Like, of course, I realized later that our house was very messy. Our house was dirty. And it was because I was living in chaos. My mind was chaotic.
Yeah, your mind.
Our environment was chaotic.
Because, I mean,
and it was
that
just
was
like,
the last thing on your mind with everything else that was going on. The last thing on your mind is scrubbing some floors, sweeping, mopping. Like,
because I would just literally try to go home and just try to, like,
rest.
Try to get my mind, you know what I mean? Or try to get, you know, feed the kids and try to, you know, whatever. And then I would just go to bed because that was the way that I could try to, like, that was my escape to just maybe, like, go to sleep. So I probably was in, like, I definitely was in some sort of depression, you know, and it was, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my God. But I think about times where, like, to this day though, like, even after he got himself clean, he is a messy person. And so, and I like my stuff like a certain type of way, but I couldn't have myself a certain way because he just was messy. And so I remember a few times, now you doing all of this stuff to me, then you had the audacity to be like talking crazy to me. So I would try my very best to make sure my kids had a home cooked meal every night. And I would cook every single day. I'm working too. Come home from work, cook them a meal. So one night I was so tired. I was trying to take care of them. I was working. I was going to school. I had a lot going on. And I was just like, you know, can you help me? Like, can you help me with, like, can you wash the dishes or something?
Yeah.
So he told me that he don't wash dishes. So I said, oh, okay. All right, cool.
So
he left.
Did all of this, and you telling me you don't wash dishes?
So the next day, I cooked. He show up whenever he show up, and he was like, "Did you cook?" Yeah. Well, the food in the microwave. Okay. So he go to the microwave and he take his food out, and his food is on paper plates. So then the next day we eat, and we sit at the table because I would try to eat with my kids too. And so he comes during dinner time because I didn't wait for him to eat because he was never gonna show up no way, So he just happened to. So we sitting there, we eating on dishes, and then he was like, "Did you save me something? It's in the microwave." He get it. His on the paper plate. I gave him silverware, but we eating on. We got regular dishes and whatever, and he was just like, what's up with this? And I was like, what? Why y'all got plates and I got paper plates? I said, well, you don't wash dishes, so you don't eat all the dishes.
Period, okay?
And then I started putting a sign on the door, like the kitchen is closed, because I had a door on my kitchen, and I closed the door. And I'd be like, no, you don't get to just, whatever. Of course, that turned into a physical altercation later.
Right.
But I didn't care. I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. Or another time I came home, and he had tore up the whole room and had left me a note on the door to clean up the room.
Oh.
I was like,
you fucking nerve.
The nerve. And then it started to so I started doing
the
little
audacity.
things like I would take his clothes and put them over here, and then I wash me and the kids' clothes. You're not gonna wash my clothes?
No.
So it was like slowly I started to like
stand up for yourself.
To stand up and get stronger. So then when I finally like it was getting to the point where I was like, I can't take no more. I'm gonna lose it. So then I bought a house. So what I did was I gave my mama all the money. The house was in her name because I knew that I was going to leave. And I didn't want to have a house and have to fight with him about what was mine.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was like, Mom, I need you to buy this house. Is the money, do whatever. So we went through all of that. So I owned the home or whatever. And so then... now I'm tired. Like, I'm over it. And I know, like, some of it I stayed because of his family, because they loved me and they were like, you so good for him. And so they kind of, like, they didn't know. And I did have to tell his mama later, like, you tell me how much you love me. But if you love me, why would you want me to stay in this toxic situation?
Right.
I understand it's your son and you love your son and you know that I'm a good person and you want him to be with this good woman.
That's selfish.
But if you love me, you need to know,
That's
like,
so
Nichole,
selfish.
I love you. Get the hell away from him.
Right. She already
away
told
from
you,
him.
like, don't let no nigga
Right.
beat on you, but then you asking me you're
stay.
allowing me to stay in this toxic relationship. That's kind of
You should have
double.
asked her, is the
double standard.
advice you're giving me, is that the same advice you would give your daughters?
But check this out. When I met him, his sister, who is like, that's my girl to this day. That's the one I help. She's she's blind, so that's the one I help. But anyway, when I met him, and she was about 15 years old, and she looked me in my face and said, "What are you doing with him?" But you know how we think we can change somebody. We're gonna do this.
Right.
We're gonna be happy. We're gonna no.
If I just do X, Y, and Z, then he'll change. If I just
She's
stay a little
15
bit,
years old.
if I just stay
And
a
that's
little
what she
bit
said to
longer,
me. You know?
if I just stay a little bit longer,
Yeah, and so that's the thing. I kept holding on to that hope, and I think we talked about this in the podcast before. Like, we want to fall in love with the potential.
yes,
You know what I mean? And I'm
Yes.
looking at, well, if I just love him more, or what happened? I'm trying to solve his problem. No, you need to solve your problem because you're the one with the real issue because you keep staying in this toxic relationship, in this abusive relationship. And of course, I was justifying a lot of stuff. Well, he ain't beat me up. We was just fighting. No. He never should have put his hands on you in the first place. But then it's like, I know it's like I was getting stronger and stronger, but then I was getting more and more angry. And then I knew, like, if I didn't end this relationship with him, that I was going to end up in prison. And I knew I was going to go to prison because, a couple times I had did a couple things to get him up off me, but, but that's what I had to do. But then the final for me was my son had went away. My son was away in college. He happened to come home a weekend. And so dude was getting good and high. Like he getting high every day. So, let me back it up. Well, prior to that, just a little bit prior to that, he had did like 11 months in prison. Mm-hmm. And so, he was like they had put him like in a work release, so he had somehow or another got a cell phone or whatever, and then we're still married, so he was on my health insurance, and he had injured himself at work. So I was living in Milwaukee, he was working in Burlington, so I had to drive all the way to Burlington, take the insurance car for them to see him at the hospital. Well, then I find out, like, I done drove all this way to bring you this insurance car, and then he was dealing with some white chick, right? So then now all of this stuff comes out, and then he gets out of prison and don't come home. So for him, he thought he was hurting me because it was all about because I didn't do something he wanted me to do. And I was like, and I'm not going to do it. So I'm literally driving somewhere and I see him just kicking it with his guys. I don't even say nothing. I keep on moving because in my head, I'm like, I ain't going to say nothing because I don't want him to come back over here with me because I was just, you're just done. So then he, of course, now he see like I'm not paying him no attention. I'm not feeding into it. I'm not like, right, please come home. I'm not none of that. So now, of course, what do that do? Then they show up and now he begging, pleading, whatever.
Tell me about it.
So but I had changed like the locks on the door because I had ended up finding out who the woman was, and we had communicated, and she was just like, I had no idea he had a wife, and she was all upset, and she was like, he has my keys, and blah, blah, blah. So I got her keys, sent her keys to her, because she lived down in Kenosha, changed my locks. I told her, you can change your locks, and then she was like, but he came down here, and he's banging on my door. I said, call the police. I said, he a nigga, and you white. Call the police on his ass.
Well,
that's just what I told her. I said, call her. Call him. They'll come get him real quick. You a white woman?
It is still Black History Month.
I'm sorry, but in that, y'all just was sick of him. You know what I mean? And he just had did too much. So,
y'all ganged up on him.
We definitely did.
As they should have.
We definitely did. And I told her, look, call the police on him because they gonna come to get him. I'm very afraid. This is black men at my door. They come and
they gonna come.
And so just all type of stuff. Then I found out he had like cars in her name, and it was just a whole hot mess. So then she sent me the title to the cars and signed them over to me.
Okay.
Then I just started doing all type of reckless stuff.
Y'all definitely ganged up on him, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it all.
That night, my son came home from school. It was a Friday. And it wasn't. He came home on Friday. So this is a Saturday. The next day is going to be Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And I had locked him out of the house or whatever, but he had got hold of one of their sets of keys and had made a second set of key, and I didn't know. He waited till like one of them was coming in the house, and then he came in with them and then took their keys. So I didn't know he had keys. So he come rolling up in there that night, and you know how you just fed up? You just fed up. So he came in there and he was hot, and I had already I had made the decision to file for a divorce because I had went through like a depression trying to make that decision of what I was going to do. And I remember, like, literally, I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need you to come get these kids because I can't right now. Like, I just really can't right now. Mm-hmm. And for, like, a week, I was laid in the middle of the living room. I ain't take no bath. I didn't wash my hair. Brush my teeth, wash my butt, nothing. Just was like, and he would literally come in the house, Step over you. Didn't try to help me. Didn't try to get me up off the floor. Nothing. Step over me. Go do whatever. He leave back out. He come back in the middle of the night. Hi. Step over me. Just like he just wasn't trying to help me. So that Mother's Day, I was done. I had already filed a divorce. He tore up all the papers. Looked like confetti all over the house. But it didn't matter because I had it. I had stashed some in my friend's house. I had some in my desk at work. I had about 50 copies across the city. Like, you not going to ruin this for me, So he come in there, and he high, and he bothered me, and I can't take no more. My son laying on the couch. But my son is very, like, I was a young mom, so me and him were together. We were tight, so he knew something was off about me. Like, he knew I was just off. I wasn't myself. So literally, I walked like in front of my house. You're in the living room. You go through the dining room to the kitchen, to the hallway, to the bedrooms. So I'm walking, but I'm very intentional. My son could tell, like, he watching me. I don't know he watching me. Like, she off. Something about to happen. She finna snap. So I walked through the house.
Right.
and I take a knife out the rack.
Get low.
And I go in the door. I go into my room and I close the door and I'm leaning on the door with the knife. And I was like, I ain't doing this no more. Like I'm done. I said, and somebody not gonna make it out, and it's gonna be you that's not gonna make it out tonight. Cause tonight I'm gonna kill your ass. Like I'm done. I can't do no more. Mm-hmm. And literally, when I got off that door to take that step towards him, it was pounding on my bedroom door. My son had called the police. Oh. Because he knew I was off. So the police came in and they took, like, the officer was like, they know. He was like, you tired? I could tell. Let me get this from you. And he took it from me, but they never put it in a report or nothing. They didn't take me to jail. But I just told him, I said, listen, I'm tired. I said, y'all have to take him out this house, or y'all gonna take me to jail. I got these kids. I can't no more. Mm-hmm. So they told him, you got to go. And they said, well, because we were still married, legally they couldn't put him out the house. They could make him leave for now, but they couldn't put him out. Right. So they leave. They make him leave. So then I leave to go to my friend's house because I'm like, I just need a break. I just need a break. So I'm driving to my friend's house, and I was going to tell my son, just drop me off. You use my car, whatever. Well, then all of a sudden the police are behind me, so they stop me. It's the same cops. Well, they didn't run him initially. They ran him later and realized he had warrants for his arrest. He had committed all type of crimes I didn't know nothing about. And so they thought that, like, you know how when we call the police and then we turn around and take the nigga with us. Right. So they thought I had, like, picked him back up and took him with me.
Hell no.
And I didn't. Well, they had come to find out he was hiding in the garage because he was going to wait for me to come back. Oh. And so they went and found him in the garage, and they took him to jail. So he ended up doing 3 years in prison, and then during that time, you know, I got the divorce, and then he fought me on a divorce. So now here I am. We're in divorce court. He in prison. He write long letters. Right. He write long letters to the judge saying that I had been visiting him and writing him. I had never visited that man in jail. Like, you're an idiot. They could check the log. Right. I had never visited him. I didn't accept no prison phone calls from him. I did nothing. You know what I mean? During that time. So then the judge was like, okay, well, he writes us from prison. So let's pull up his record. While he trying to fight this divorce, they pull up his record. The judge was like, divorce granted. Like, we done fooling with him. Like, you know what I mean? She was like, no, we done with this. So then we ended up getting the divorce. But of course now I'm broken. My esteem is to the ground.
Right, you done went through all of that. You're not yourself anymore.
I'm not myself. I just, I'm lost. And of course, here and then, bring us back around to my dad. Of course, my dad wasn't very helpful. You know what I mean? He was just not like, instead of being, I'm sorry you went through all of that, it was, better. And you know what I mean? It was just not, still wasn't getting what I needed. From him. Then my mom was like, you're stupid. And you know what I mean? Just all of this stuff. So I'm getting all of this.
Right. So you already feeling down on yourself, and then you got other people around you. The people who are supposed to love you and build you back up.
That you expect to.
Right.
Looking down on me. And, my older sister was very helpful. My younger sister, now she's still, away in Oklahoma. She can't really, whatever. Because she having the same struggle as me, because she then ended up going through something very similar to me. Because of that, what we needed from our father. And I know, like, people need to understand, like, children need both parents. There's a reason why you have a mama and a daddy. You need both of them for different things.
Right.
And, of course, my mom did, but, she was at work. So I had guidance, but I didn't have guidance. You know what I mean? And so it was just a lot. And so now I'm broken, and I don't know what to do. And then I move on, and then he come out, and then like 2 years after he come out, then here I'm back in this. But now he not putting his hands on me, because now I'm like, put your hands on me now, nigga. You know what I mean? So the relationship
really gonna be tussling in this motherfucker.
It changed, and then he got sick. He had a heart attack from all of the years of doing these drugs. So he has a heart attack. And so now I feel like Helen off a Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Because now I'm like, I'll punch you dead in your shit. Put your hands on me now. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's still like the selfishness and the self-centeredness and all of that was still
he
there.
He expected you to be the wife and take care of him.
And now I'm resentful. Now I don't want to do it. And now I don't like you. You know what I mean? And now I'm over here. Now I turn into the abuser.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm going to get you back for all you did to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's just like, it just continued to be, you know, extremely toxic and just a whole hot mess, you know, all the way around. But the one thing that, despite all of this chaos, the one thing I did was I continued to talk to my kids. I didn't hide a lot of stuff from them. I told them the straight up truth. I was honest with them, and I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna do I'm gonna be truthful with you about what's going on in my life, so that you don't think that this is okay. Because I said, this is not okay. None of this is okay. None of it. I told that to my son. I told that to my daughter, and you know. And now when I see them in their relationships, nothing like this. Like, my son is not an abuser. My daughter is not in an abusive relationship. They're in really good, healthy relationships. I think because I was so honest with them that I was like, let me redirect you. And then, like, my daughter, she did meet this guy, and I could see it. I could see it in this one dude, and I talked to her, and I was like, dude ain't no good. So some of my family members were mad at me because she wanted to move in with him. And I said, no. I said, I tell you what, y'all can live with me. And people were like, you gonna let your daughter bring some nigga up in the house? Yep.
Yeah,
I am.
I need to be her
because
protector.
I can already tell that he's an abuser, and I'm a protector. And sure enough, he had to get beat up. We beat him up because he was like yelling at her, being aggressive with her, and I was at home, and I stepped out, and I was like, what's happening? And then he's like got crazy with me, and I was like, nigga, I'll whoop your, this is my house. You know what I mean?
Simba, sit down.
Right. So then, then my son showed up, and he didn't know my son was there, but we had whooped him up in that house. He had to get whooped up in there. So
and
then,
that's why you let your daughter live with you.
And that's why, because I could see it, because I had been through it.
Right. You
so
recognize that. You recognize the signs early on, and you was like,
yep.
I'm not allowing my daughter to go down the same path that I went down if I can help it.
Because if he would have got, now he was definitely trying to separate her. He was trying to isolate her. And I said, no, but see, one thing that I love about my daughter, she listened. Like, she was never, she was bad. I know she was doing something, but she wasn't a really, really fast girl. Like, I think, this is TMI. She probably choked the life out of me. She was a real adult before she became active, like in her, 22, 23 years old before she ever became active. You know what I mean? And so we had a really open relationship, and we talked about everything. And I was just like, this dude don't mean you no good, but I understand that you're gonna have to learn it on your own.
Make your own decisions.
Because when we think we in love, we don't.
Yeah,
we ain't trying to hear that.
Blinded by lust.
So I had to let her learn.
You
but
mentioned
he
red
wasn't gonna
flags.
get her outside my house though. He wasn't, and I was like, nope, you stay with me.
You mentioned red flags. We thinking the red. I thought it was a circus.
Exactly.
They look pretty to me.
Seriously. I like the color red.
Right. That's my favorite color.
That's crazy.
But
Did you see the red flags?
But, when, so after I went back and I was over there, he was getting beat up by me now.
Don't try to whisper that part.
Yeah, now he was getting
the roles are reversed now. Because, it's revenge almost at this point.
And that's what it was.
I didn't put up with your shit for X amount of years. Yeah. Now you need me at this point. So now I'm finna whoop your ass.
And so he knew he was scared to eat at the house. Because he has some allergies. He allergic to fish. And I'll be like, keep on playing with me. You're eating some chicken cooked in fish grease. Keep playing with me.
Or you just got to smash it up small enough.
Yeah.
They won't even know. Or put fish, what is it, fish oil?
Mm-hmm. But yeah. But I mean, it was a trying period, but I made it out. You know what I mean? I'm okay. Every once in a while, I did go to counseling. I did get me some therapy.
That's good.
Because that was the best thing for me to do, because I didn't, and I worked really hard. Like, I worked really, really hard on my healing, and so that I didn't continue to take that baggage with me everywhere I went.
So you weren't the hurt people who hurt people.
Nope. And so even like men that I dated after, I went through my counseling or whatever, they were like, man, you ain't bitter or nothing. And I'd be like, no. But see, also too about me is I love freely and purely. Like, I don't let, like, whatever happened over here, I'm not going, I'm going to work really hard to make sure I'm not bringing it over here to you too. Does it come up sometimes? Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's still a part of you that's still what you went through.
Every once in a while, I'll be like, wait, hold up. Wait. You know what I mean? So I ask myself these questions. Wait a minute. Why do you feel this way? Mm-hmm. What's the real root of the reason why you're feeling this way? So I ask myself those questions. It's hard. It's tough, because sometimes we want to lie to ourselves.
Check yourself before you can lash out or do anything crazy or say anything crazy to anybody else. Yep. You check yourself.
So I work hard at that every single day. Can I ask
you, how long did that like really take you for you to just really like be able to check yourself before you like essentially bled on someone else who didn't cut you?
It probably took me about a good 5 years of work. And I'm still, and I still do it. So with me and my dad's relationship, so my mom died 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And me, at that time, we did not have a great relationship. But my mom and my dad, even despite all that went on, they still remain friends. They had known each other since they were 12 years old. So even though they're not, divorced, moved on or whatever, they rebuilt their friendship. Oh, so when my mom got diagnosed with cancer, my dad was one of the first people she called. My dad was at the hospital every single day. You know what I mean? Because that was his oldest friend. Like, they had a really good friendship. Like, she ended up helping, like I said, like my dad helped with my son. So sometimes my brother would be at our house, even though this is a child by a whole nother woman. Yeah. My brother would be at our house too. So, she kind of helped raise my brother and my sister, who was, the side child, even though she really not that. But,
right.
I don't want her to, if she hear this, to think that's what I think about her, because it's not. But, my mom helped raise them as well, which to me is like a big,
for sure.
How can you,
for sure. Honorable,
like, that's major,
stand up, like that just speaks to the character of her, because not a lot of people would do that. I know a lot of women who would, their first instinct would, I don't want no other child that's not mine in my house. Especially, you fathered a child outside of our relationship, I don't want that child around me.
Yeah, see, she never did that. She made sure my dad took care of my sister. She made sure that my sister had everything, and she made sure that my dad sent for her every summer. So my sister was with us every summer.
That's dope.
And then as we got older, and we kind of didn't want to be at our dad's house, then my sister would come for the summer and stay with me at my mama's house, and my mama would treat her just like how she treated us. It was never like, well, these are my two girls and then my stepdaughter.
Right.
Or,
these are my girls.
It was like, these are my girls. Yeah. And that's how it was. So when my mom got sick and was dying, my brother came from D.C. to see my mom before she died, because he was like, my mom was at my brother's high school graduation. You know what I mean? Because she loved them no matter what. And then my sister came to see my mom before, she passed away, because of the impact that my mom had made on their life.
Do you think your mother passing is what, because you said you and your dad made a child relationship 8-9 years ago. Do you think that's what it was?
It was, because what my mom said to me before she died was, you got to fix your relationship with your daddy.
Mama, if you listening.
And I was like,
don't say that to me on your deathbed.
But she did.
The moment you take that last breath, I'll be like, girl, fuck you.
But see, that's how I was feeling. And, but I think that as I saw him be there for her at the end of her life, like that kind of started to soften me a little bit towards him. So then now I'm like the thing that finally broke it was I was at church and our pastor was talking about unforgiveness, and he was like, if you have somebody that you need to forgive or need to forgive you, take your phone out right now and text them, I forgive you.
Pastor Elder Dockery. Don't come to church on Sunday. Talking about some forgiving texting people because I already blocked that number. Continue with your story.
So I did it. And I didn't expect no response back. And he didn't answer. And I was like, okay. But the next day, my dad called me and he said, we need to talk. And I said, okay. So then we sat down and we had a long conversation. And, you know, he gave me things from his perspective, which I had never taken his perspective in you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just
I
knew
just
what
knew
you
my
were.
perspective.
Right.
And so once he gave me his perspective and you know, we talked about my perspective or whatever, that was how we slowly began to build our relationship. You know,
I think it's important that he was actually receptive to all the things you had to say, because
and that's
sometimes
the thing
you talk
about
to
it.
people and they be like, well, that ain't what happened, or you don't know because you was a child, but it's like, that's my reality.
Right.
Exactly.
See it from my like how I lived it. I'm not saying that that's what your intentions are, but see
this
it
is
from my
this is how I received it. This is how I felt. Again, this may have not been what your intentions were. However, this is the way that you made me feel.
Exactly.
That's what happened from my perspective.
I don't know what I would feel like if I didn't have a relationship with my daughters. I don't know what my life would be like. And it just hurts. This hurts my feelings to hear that y'all don't have that relationship. Or you just...
now
you do, but it took that long. That, you know, all the things that he missed. All the opportunities he had to protect you. And he kind of missed those opportunities.
And I think, though... So it was my sister, my younger sister, who said to me... you have to understand that he's loving you the best way he know how.
Yeah.
She said that, and that's kind of turned some stuff up.
So
because
while I get that statement, I also kind of feel like that's a cop-out.
I mean, that could be.
So, like, I try to see it from both sides. I try to see, like, you're doing the best that you can with the tools that you have. However, at the same time, I need you to try a little bit harder.
I understand that, because my son is the prime example. You know what I'm saying? His daddy never really helped him. He never was really that involved. When I tell you my son with his kids, he do not play about his kids. He don't play about his kids, because he said, because I didn't have a daddy, they gonna have a daddy. You get what I'm saying? So I get that. I get exactly what you're saying. But see, my dad, unfortunately, was very spoiled and very selfish, because there really was no reason for it. Because when he had me, he was 30 years old. You know what I mean? He wasn't 16.
Right. He was definitely ready.
You know what I mean? He was an adult.
Yeah.
But my grandmother spoiled him so bad that he only could think of himself. You know what I mean? He only knew how to make sure he was good.
Right.
You know, because that's just how she was. And she was an overbearing mama too. You know, so not that that's an excuse, but I kind of understand.
But it's again, you're seeing it from his perspective of this is how I grew up, and you know.
Well, we saw it, because my grandmother, like, my father he's the third.
Okay.
So they called him June.
Okay.
Right. Oh, so I know you can't get away from them thirds, right? So, because my guy is the third too.
This is true.
So
I'm one.
So he had. This is the weirdest thing. She had these little cups, right? One was gold, one was rose gold, and one was silver. We're children, you know. We see you can't drink out of them. Them is June cups. And I remember saying, June is a grown man.
Right?
What he need that cup for? We kids.
What's your daddy name?
Benjamin. It's not George.
I'm just saying they call George June too.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this
so.
motherfucker.
Well, but it's just like, I don't know. So after that, we had that conversation, and we began to really like grow our relationship. And so now I probably talk to my dad 3-4 times a week. He called me like, come on, let's do this. Like, we do stuff together.
So he lives here?
He lives here, yep.
Okay.
And I spend, so we do things together. But I noticed, too, though, that he has been a much better grandfather
than
I think he was a father. Because he loved those kids. And
he probably has to do a lot of his own growing and healing that, you wasn't aware of as well. So,
exactly.
Like, I can't really erase the past, but I at least want to, do better where I am right now.
Exactly. But now our relationship is great. He check on me. I check on him. I'd be like, Dad, what you doing? Let's go do this. Like, his Christmas party, he was like, will you go to my Christmas party with me? I'm like, yeah. So I went to his company Christmas party, and then I took him to a couple of my company Christmas parties, and so we, we do things. I just took him to for his 80th birthday. We went to New York, and that's what he. That's what he wanted to do. He had never been to New York, and he wanted to go to New York. I do
remember that, and you didn't even give me them sniffers.
I sure didn't. You're right. So now we planning his next birthday. He want to go back. So, we good.
I love that for you.
Like, I don't have, I'm always going to have, like, we're good, but I still went through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not angry with him.
It still happened.
It still happened, and I still have to work on those areas of my life, but I'm not angry with him. Like, I have zero anger against him. You know what I mean? I always try to make sure he good. He always try to make sure I'm good, But
so I was trying to let you get all your thoughts out because I was taking notes. I got questions.
Okay.
How did the moment feel when you took your power back when it came to your ex-husband? Like, what did that moment feel like?
It felt like freedom. It felt like freedom. It felt like all the chains, all of that bondage had, it just fell off. And it was just freedom, and I was like, I'm free to think what I want to think, say what I want to say, do what I want to do without having all of this drama, without having him, whatever. And he still to this day be bothering me, but it's like I'm so much stronger. I'll be like, get on somewhere.
Boy.
Like, go on somewhere. And then, of course, it was the I still love you. I said, but you can't manipulate me no more because I'm not 23.
Right.
I'm grown.
Right.
I'm a grown woman. And you don't want these problems. You really don't want this smoke now. Like, you will never, because my ex-husband is weak. He a weak man. And so he had to, because what he was doing to me, I guarantee you he ain't never did that to no nigga.
Of course, they usually don't.
You know what I mean?
They usually don't.
He's weak, and he's selfish, and he's self-centered, and he want what he want. Like, he would rather see me be miserable with him than to see me with somebody else and be happy. He weak.
Have you ever taken the time to celebrate your freedom from that situation?
Probably not.
You should do that. Because that was a win.
That was a big win.
A win.
That was a big win.
I don't know. Maybe in a different way. Like, I do whatever I want to do. Like, maybe that's the way I do. If I think I want to do it, I just go do it. Mm-hmm. So maybe without really realizing it, yeah, I probably do. Because you just made another thought come to me about some stuff that he do. He would never, how, okay, your birthday, right? And you go out to dinner and you want them to sing you happy birthday, whatever. I would be like, tell him it's my birthday. And he'd be like, I'm not doing all of that. But it's my birthday.
Right.
But he wouldn't do it. And he would ruin my birthdays. Like, it was almost like he would intentionally ruin because he didn't want me to be celebrated. So now I'd be making a big deal. I'd be doing all type of stuff.
When is your birthday?
April 3rd.
Put that on the calendar now.
So it's like...
Niggas make it real easy for other niggas.
Exactly.
For real.
Exactly.
It's real easy to just step in and be like, hey, happy birthday, baby.
Yep.
And then she melts
and
because
then I get the draws.
Exactly. But I feel like he didn't want to celebrate. He never wanted to celebrate me. It was always about him and about his needs. Like, he didn't really, as I look back, he really didn't meet any of my needs. He didn't meet any of my needs. And then, and I ain't gonna lie, I still get triggered about, like, he would forget me at work. Now remember, go back to my daddy forget me at school. And I won't say he would forget me at work. He would just wouldn't pick me because he'd be out doing his own thing, or he'd be late picking me up from work. That make me crazy. Like even today, my son will tell you if he come into town and he want to use my car, I'd be like, do not pick me up late from work. Do not. Or you gonna see something you don't want to see, because I will go berserk, like literally go berserk if you pick me up late from work, because it trigger all of all of that stuff. It bring me back to, you didn't care enough about me to make sure that you picked me up, or whatever. I understand, like with my dad, he worked third shift, he would sleep somewhere, but I'm saying it still carried on.
I never forget Tyler at school, and I worked third shift. I should have forgot his little ass.
You better leave something alone. But it's like, so just little things will still trigger me today. You know what I mean? Just because I still, that's something I still gotta, kind of work through. But so if you tell me you're gonna meet me at 6 o'clock, or you pick me up, please come at 6 o'clock, or come a little earlier. Otherwise, I'm in the house tripping.
Yeah.
Just because it do something to me. It make me feel unimportant.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was treated like I wasn't important,
So you mentioned, like the identity issues with the last name, and how you didn't have the best relationship with your dad growing up. Even though your ex-husband was so tight, and all of the signs like, this is not what I want, do you feel like because he gave you some of the things you were missing from your dad, that it was like, I'm going to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I felt like my dad kind of left me. So I was trying to hold on. Or actually, I said this, I don't know, a few episodes ago, where sometimes we try to recreate in that person what we couldn't have in our dad. So I was trying to fix him so I could fix him. You know what I mean? So I could try to fix that relationship that I knew I couldn't fix, so I thought I could fix him.
I can see that.
And that's just that's just being foolish, but it's what we do to try to trick ourselves, or whatever. And so now when he see me with my ex-husband, see me with other men, like he I don't know what he was doing, like even though we're not whatever, he still has a relationship with my children, and so he's still kind of around, but I just be doing them like that or whatever. And so sometimes we'll have to do stuff like, hey, I got to bring you this money for the grandkids, or whatever. And so I think he came to my office, and I had some flowers from a guy that I was previously dating. Who bought you flowers? You didn't. So what you worried about it for? You know what I mean? You. When did you start liking flowers? Says the man
who never bought me flowers.
So he said, when did you start liking flowers? And I said, when I stopped tricking myself to believe that I didn't like flowers.
Okay.
I always liked flowers. But I was fooling myself.
What?
I had to trick myself to believe that, because I wasn't going to get them no way.
So many women trick themselves for Valentine's Day, like,
for sure.
We ain't really gotta celebrate.
Every day is Valentine's Day. Okay, that's cool, but this is
we can do the same
day.
shit we do on all the rest of the days, but we not gonna not do it just because it's Valentine's Day.
Right.
We can still be in our jammies and get some food and chill.
Yeah.
Like, still appreciate.
Exactly. Exactly. So it was funny because I was doing all of this work after I ended, because I did, like I said, I did slip back into it. But then I was like, oh hell no, I'm not about to do this with this dude. And then other things happened where now you got a heart problem. Now you want me to help you, but then it was like things where you have a heart condition, right? So they tell you need to lose weight, you got to eat healthy. So here I am over here trying to meal prep and do all of this work for you. And then you come to pick up the meals, and then I look in your car, and you got chip bags all over. So you still using me. And so I was like, you know what? Go ahead, eat all them chips, but don't come over here. I'm not meal prepping a damn thing else for you. Like, that's, you need to take control of your health. I got to take control of my health. So I'm doing the work. So then I meet this other guy that I'm dating, and I start to see the red flags. But of course, I'm like, well, maybe not. I don't want, then we play this other trick on ourselves. well, I don't want to bring my baggage from here. Maybe that's not what's going to know. Them is red flags, heifer, and you know them is red flags. So I, started to kind of go down the same path. However, I didn't let it go as long as I had went in this relationship. And then I was like, you know what? Hell no. I don't care nothing about you bringing me. You can bring me flowers every day. It's something wrong with you. It's something off. And the same thing, he wasn't showing up for me. He wasn't showing up for me. And it was like, we could have plans. And we'll have made plans during the day. And then time to get off of work. And then he hadn't called me. I'm like, what
Right, and
happened
then
to
it's
the
like,
plans?
okay, so I thought we had plans. We
Right.
had made plans earlier in the day, and now it's time for said plans.
And you ain't nowhere to be found. Or, I thought that.
Why didn't you
I
call
fell
me?
asleep. Or, yeah, why you didn't call me? It would be my fault. So finally, I was like, so I called him a narcissist, the asshole. You called me a bitch, and I told him, fuck you and your mama, and she should have swallowed you. So that was
period.
that.
Okay, and that's just that on that. And that's just that on that. Okay.
So that happened. So then.
We not just gonna go past that.
That went fast.
It was like, and then I said, and then he said, and then I was like, your mama should have swallowed you.
Yeah. So basically, after of course, I caught the red flags in it, and I was like, this dude is number one, he a narcissist, he's selfish, and he got a whole nother life somewhere, because this is signs of it's a woman somewhere, whatever. So I was just like, okay. So then I called him a narcissist. And when you call a narcissist, they'll snap, crackle, and pop on you.
Like you said, he was a part of Illuminati. Like.
Yeah, like you just really whatever. So then he called me a bitch. And then I told him, fuck you.
She's doing it slow.
And fuck your mama for not swallowing your punk ass.
That deserves a hand clap.
I'm still processing because
She's like, even I wouldn't say that. You probably right.
But he was who he was because of his mama. Yeah. There was one nut she should have sucked up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Straight up. She should have
That was one.
took it right on down the throat.
Okay.
For real.
wow.
And I meant it though. And then I blocked him. And then I saw him last summer. Me and my friend, we were up exercising. We were walking. And he, I saw his truck. And so, when I looked
Why
up,
do you always see these people?
Huh?
You always just randomly running.
I don't know. I saw him. He was literally walking down the street, and I happened to look up, and I saw him, and we made eye contact. But I did the eye contact like I didn't even know who he was. I didn't give him nothing. I didn't give him no mean face. I didn't give him nothing. I just gave him I don't even know you type of look, which pissed a narcissist that pissed him all the way off. And so he never I never tried to reach out to him. I never tried to be in no type of contact with him. Nothing ever. Once that happened, I just, I shut it down, and then that's how I kind of been, if I see the red flag, I'm like, I'm out. I'll see you later. I'm not, I don't even entertain it.
So do you tell people you gonna cut them off, or do you
No.
just, okay,
You just all of a sudden
I gotta take
can't.
that note.
You just all of a sudden can't talk to me.
Okay.
Yes.
We need to take notes.
I don't owe nobody nothing.
Explanation.
I don't owe nobody nothing. And so I'm not doing it no more. So
Yeah, why is it it's being kind of shunned, or you looked down upon for ghosting people, but you don't really owe anybody an
nobody
explanation.
nothing.
I mean,
You really don't.
it make it sound negative. You ghosted me.
Well, I didn't like you. And if I would have told you I didn't like you, then you would have tried to convince me why I should like you. And I don't want to do all that because I don't like you.
Okay, I get that.
Period. I don't want to.
I definitely be feeling some type of way if I get ghosted. But
Well,
if you put it that way, I mean, you're right. No one owes anyone an explanation as to how they're feeling, and you're probably right.
But also, here's the thing: if I tell you,
begin a conversation.
if I tell you how to treat me and you still not treating me right, I don't owe you nothing. I'm out of here because I'm not going to continue to stay here and be mistreated. I've been mistreated enough that you not finna do it.
For sure.
I'm not doing that no more. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not gonna do it. But I also noticed, like, when me setting those boundaries with myself, like even with my current relationship, like, he takes the time to love me my way, the way I need to be loved.
Okay.
But and for me, it don't even have to be. It's not even anything major. Like with my ex-husband, it was always, I love you, I love you. Like you have to tell me 652 times a day. I don't know if you're trying to convince me or you're trying to convince me or, I mean, you or me or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But you're not loving me the way, and that's who I am. I'm an action person. Just show me. Love, like if you love me, you see me over here trying to wash these dishes, and you know I'm stressed out. Come over here and wash these dishes for me. Say, you know what? I got it for you tonight. I'll do that for you.
Acts of service.
Seriously, and it just be the simplest things with my guy now. Like I went and I had some water. This is so simple. But I had my water bottle, and I forgot the water bottle in the living room because I was sleepy. I went to sleep. Well, I got up in the middle of the night because I wanted some water. My bottle wasn't there. I go in there, look. He filled it back up, put it in the refrigerator. Simple. I know that ain't nothing, but it is.
It's something
because
to you.
He thought about me.
Right.
Like, okay, I know she gonna get up and drink this water because she always drinking water in the middle of the night. Let me make sure she got some cold water.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So he pay attention to those little small things, you know. Or he know that I stopped eating meat again. He's still a meat eater. When I go over there, he'd be like, "Hey, I went to the store. There's some food in here for you to eat." Versus my husband would have said, "Come on, let's go to Famous Dave's." You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, let's go to the Brazilian steakhouse.
You know I'm a fucking vegetarian, and you gonna tell me let's go to a meat place where they only serve meat.
So I'm saying it's for me it's the little things.
It's always the little things that mean the most.
Right. When I go to Chicago, he says, "You let me know when you outside." When I pull up, he come out there, he take whatever I'm bringing in, and we go in. It ain't all right, just ring the doorbell or you know whatever. Or when I'm leaving, it's not all right. See you later. It's let me walk you outside. Let me make sure you straight. You know what I mean? Or when he come here, he got his stuff. We probably stopped at the grocery store, so he carrying his bag, my bag, the groceries, holding the door. And I'm like, well, I can carry it. No. He was like, well, you don't need, I got this.
He need to muff you like our boy muffed Denise.
Yeah, oh, yeah, but I told you he did. He called me a hooker that day. He was like, if you want to be on the outside, then go be on the outside, hooker. Like, I'm trying to protect you.
Don't ever fucking call me a hooker, okay?
He like, I'm trying to protect you. He's like, let me protect you. He said, I know you a strong woman. I know you've been doing things for years on your own. But when you with me, let me protect you because that's what you deserve. Let me love you because that's what you deserve.
Is that hard? Seeing that what you've been through and now you've had to heal through all this stuff and now I ain't going to say put up this shell, but you know, now you have this strong woman mentality. Is it hard for you to allow a man to?
It has taken me, it's been 9 months. It's taken me 9 months to soften. He was like, I need you to soften. Like, I need you to
relax a little bit.
Let me, I got you. Like, I'm not going to let you down. I got you. And I deal with him too because his words match his actions.
That
where
matters.
he say he gonna be, he do what he say he gonna do.
You probably scared them.
And no, but it's weird because you know how that whole thing where they talk about women submitting to men. Like I understand he's not my husband, so I don't necessarily have to submit. You know, I get it, but
it comes natural when he's
natural with
leading,
him, right?
When he's leading and he's a protector.
I pay him like that.
I thought he was finna say something, so I was waiting. Yeah, because he like adjusting. I'm like,
it was a sigh for me. I heard it and I was like, all right, what's coming?
Waiting to see. I'm like,
but it come natural for me because I feel safe. I feel secure. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't have to have that strong woman. And he called me out on it because one time I don't know what I was doing. He was like, you don't got to do all that. I know you strong, but you ain't got to be doing all that. Like, you need to he's like, I know you tough and I know you this, but you don't have to show that to me.
For the people in the back, I'm weak. Okay? Take me off. the
but
list.
See, but again, I had to. That's the realization I had to come to, because growing up, my mama was always saying, "You don't need no nigga. You do blah 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 blah." That my mama told me a lie. That was a lie.
A whole lie.
Can you say that again, closer to the mic, please?
Yes, my mom told me a lie. I do need a man. I do need help. I do need. You know what I mean? There are things that I
She
just
also speaks
can't
for the D
do.
in DNR.
Yeah, I just can't. There's just things that I just can't do. I just don't have the ability to do it. I
am unable. I need some assistance.
And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
There
I don't know
isn't.
why we gotta, like, I'm gonna be 100% with you. I am not a feminist. And I know it's a lot of women, like, they all on that. I'm not a feminist. I need my man, period.
I'm pro me.
I can't do
Right.
a lot of stuff.
Thank God for black men.
So yeah, thank God for black men.
Thank
I
God for
appreciate
black
them.
men, okay?
I don't care about the white ones or the Asians or no, thank God for the black men.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. And I know he done had some struggles, but he, through his struggles or whatever he'd been through, he still take the time to figure me out.
And that's important, because
I love that for you.
We can make excuses or we can make changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it was surprising because I never would imagine this from someone so much younger than me.
Yeah.
But I guess a man is a man. I guess the age really don't matter if you a man. But then here I had this 50-something-year-old boy, and then this young man who pay close attention. He know what I like and what I don't like. He know I'm a dingbat sometimes. He know I be having my blind moments.
Listen.
He don't care.
2 years, 2 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seriously. So.
For sure.
But somebody just asked me this weekend, like where was I at in life, and like I feel like I'm in a good place. Like I'm in a really good place. I probably feel like the most confident in myself, like even in my career, in myself, in what what I mean. Like I'm the most confident I've probably ever been in my entire life right now.
I'm gonna get there.
You sure will. I mean, it take a lot of self-reflection, and that's what I had to do. I had to stop lying to myself about certain things. I had to just be honest, because it's like, why am I lying to myself? I gotta live with this. You know what I mean? So I need to be able to tell my truth so I can tell myself the truth so I can figure out how to be a better me. Mm-hmm. Because you hurting you. Why? I already been hurt enough by other people. Why am I going to continue to hurt me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to do better. And I had to ask, like, myself very specific questions. Like, why did you ignore the red flags in that relationship? What was it? Well, it was because I didn't want to start over again. Mm-hmm. Well, it was because I wasn't feeling confident in myself.
I would rather deal with this bullshit that I know than leave and go to some other bullshit that I don't know.
Exactly. And so I asked myself those questions, and it was just like, no, you can't do that. Like, I'm never going to give up on love. I don't care what has happened to me. I'm not going to give up on love, and I'm not going to stop being who I am. Like, people think, like, the way I love is weird. Like, I'm going to give you the trust up front. If you mess it up, that's 100% on you because I gave it to you. Like, I'm not the person where you got to earn it. No, I gave it to you, whatever. It's like one time, this was years ago, I had went out with my pastor, was like a group of us. And so the waitress came over, he called her over, and he was like, I'm going to give you this $20 right now. Because he was saying, I'm trusting that you're going to give us good service. And if you do give us really good service, then it's going to be more. You know what I mean? So he gave it to her up front, trusting that it was going to be good service. You know what I mean? That's how I am with my love. I'm going to trust it. And then when you mess it up, then I could walk away freely. That's like, good. I gave it to you, and you messed it up. That's on you. I don't know. That's just how I am.
But that's a good way to look at it, though.
Because now I put it all on you. I gave it to you. What you did with it is 100% on you.
That's good.
And then I could walk away like,
I ain't there yet. I don't know if that'll ever be my ministry. However, that's a dope way to look at it. Because I ain't gonna say I'm one of the people where you gotta earn it, but I gotta feel comfortable and safe with you in order for me to allow you in. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's true. I get it though.
And that's why I'm starting counseling.
I love
That's
that for
good,
you.
though. I do too. Like, I don't know why as Black people we always afraid to go to a counselor or to seek therapy. We need to, because we have some serious problems. You know what I mean? And some of the issues we have comes from the past, the other things that have happened to us, and we need to start to address it, like, so that we can get better. You know, and just be better overall. Like, if you walk around hurt and I'm walking around hurt and she walking around hurt and Tommy walking around hurt, like, we got 4 hurt people. What is that? How is that really helping?
Yeah,
that's
our
why he
community?
be attacking me on what?
He is not thinking about it. He over there doing his art therapy right now.
He cold with the hands.
But it's just like, we gotta start to begin to do better. How can we heal if we don't face it? You know. Like today, you know, as we was telling this story, I just had one little brief moment of, you know what I'm saying, some tears. But them tears wasn't necessarily about the memory. The tears was about, I survived it.
For sure.
It's like, I went through it, but thank God I'm here now.
It
like,
could have
I'm
gone.
still here to tell the
It
story.
could have gone so much differently, but I'm here.
So I use it, you know, I take that and I use it. Like, I'm in property management, and you wouldn't think that in property management you would have to counsel people, but I have to counsel people all the time. I have to counsel young girls, young women all the time who are, you know, they living on my property, they man not on the lease, he over there tearing up their stuff and whatever. And so I talk to them and I be like, come here, let me talk to you for a minute. And so
that might be why you're there. That might be
right,
for sure. Because initially, when people meet me and they talk to me, they hear the way I speak, and they automatically assume that I ain't never been through nothing. You know what I mean? They think that I probably grew up middle class because I talk a little bit proper, you know, whatever.
I'd have thought she was white.
But, whatever. So, well, we lived in the hood, but my mom sent us to school while I was hosting.
Okay.
So that's, you know.
I would have thought she was white.
Exactly. So when they start to hear my story and what I've been through and all of the whatever, and then I talk to them like, listen, how long you going to keep letting dude whoop on you? But then I let them know I am not talking to you from a place of judgment. I'm talking to you from a place of I've been there. And so I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop as long as you stay there. It's not going to stop. So I do use what has happened to me to talk to these young women that I deal with on a regular basis. You know, because it's a lot of times when you rent an apartment, it's almost always the woman. You know what I mean? And so I just talked to them about all type of stuff. This couple came in last week. She owed $1,200. Dude came in there, thought he was about to spin me, and I just kept hitting him. And then I said to him, since you in here trying to be the spokesperson and you know so much and you telling me all of this and you in accounting, why her rent ain't paid?
Hello?
How you account, but you ain't accountable?
Right. Oh, say it again.
Because, like, the fuck?
I told him, I said,
hiring you.
I told him, I said, why her rent ain't paid? If you got it, why it's not paid?
You can't even count.
Seriously.
You in accounting and you can't count.
And he was just
Ain't that a
looking at me
shame?
crazy like he wasn't expecting. I was like, no, it's not okay. You want to come here and be the spokesperson, but you ain't even paid the rent. Pay the rent.
Maybe it was his first day on the job.
No, it wasn't his first day. He was in there jacking, and I was like, you got the wrong one.
He
You got
really
the
work
wrong
at
one.
Walmart.
Right. So, you know,
Counting
so I do
pallets.
use it. Exactly. Counting how many minutes before it's time to go home. But it's like, so I do use it to talk to other people and to try to minister to other people. Like, you can get out of this. I got out of this. Or like when I was doing social work, it was one young lady. She was 19 years old. She had 3 kids. I said, listen, look, little girl. I said, listen, I said, you homeless. I'm trying to get you a place to stay, but you know he can't go. So you rather be homeless with your man than
That's
to
tough.
be housed with your children.
That's tough.
But I said, stop having kids.
Right.
Stop. At least for right now, until you can be, you're 19 with 3 kids. I said again, I was 20 with 2, so I know two ain't 3, but still, I know about being a young mother.
I'm in my 30s with one with 3 personalities. God damn, what?
But I told you I stopped. When I was walking with my baby and holding this little boy hand in the dead of winter, I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't doing this. I had my tubes tied at 24 years old.
They won't even tie mine.
I don't know why. I was done. I told them, look,
I asked several times.
Because I'm not going to have two. I already got 2 kids, 2 different fathers. I wasn't about to have 3 or nothing. And thank God, because then I get with my husband and I don't even know how many kids he got. I don't think he know. But but imagine, we would have had kids, and then they would have been all, because then I would have been in jail, because I would have dropped them kids off at the jail to their daddy.
All right, and just like that, we going.
So you know how they have those shows where they had the mama be in jail with the kids? It was gonna be.
I ain't never seen that.
Me neither. What show is this?
I've seen it on something where they like the mama be.
It was in her dream.
Maybe so, but I was gonna drop the kids off right over there.
Excuse me, it's his weekend. The court said he gets them on weekends. What?
So yeah, I thank God that I was, I really was done. I didn't have no more.
You don't get to go to jail and just be free.
Oh, you thought
take them out there on the yard?
Not out there on the yard.
To lift 2 weights.
Take them and walk on that track. Y'all better get y'all photo shoot in.
Teach them some new poses.
Straight up, man.
Oh God, y'all stupid.
But it's real though, like,
That should be a thing though. If it's not a real thing, it ain't my story, but they should better drop the kids off at jail sometime.
For real.
Scared straight.
Right. Not
scared straight.
You think I gotta be stuck with these kids, or you in jail just free?
Right. You just living your life in jail and
kicking
shit.
It
just in there bending over.
Right.
Ooh.
Ooh. Just in there dropping the soap on purpose.
Oh God.
Just said, oops.
I can't stand you.
Did y'all see that? I dropped the soap.
You went in as Frank and you came out as
Frankie
and Beverly.
Especially the ones I can't leave it on my kids. Well, here.
That part.
Oh my God. Here you go. Oh my God. I love it. I love how we go from something so serious to this. Like,
yeah, because it was a little heavy in here.
Yeah, it was. But
we gonna celebrate
good.
you.
For sure.
I got it on my calendar, April 3rd. It's a Tuesday. No, it's a Monday.
Okay, on Monday. But yeah,
I gotta pay my Boost Mobile on that Tuesday.
Yo, what?
My
Her Boost Mobile.
Oh shoot!
I'm like, wait, what's that?
So,
So I'm not the only one who got my bills in my calendar.
I don't do all that now.
I need it.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm good. Like I said, I have moments. I ain't gonna lie. I had a moment last week where dude was like, I don't know what you owe, but you better get your life together because you tripping. And I was.
Well,
I had just a brief moment of where I was tripping. So
ain't nothing wrong with having a relapse, but catching it. Like,
right. But I what I'm saying.
Allow
I was
grace.
accountable and responsible for it, and I was like, you know what? I was doing too much. This is how I was feeling. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was. And that's it's important
to allow yourself grace. Like, we can heal every single day, but every single day is also going to be different. Mm-hmm. New triggers is going to pop up.
Yeah. I'm actually right now, February 15th, I started 30 days of self-care and self-love.
Yeah.
So I actually
you ain't
been doing it. It don't matter because we're going to start it over all over
But why
again,
she ain't even trying to tell us?
She didn't.
Pretty sure you got my phone number.
But yeah, so I've been working on, so every day I've been like Like I wrote myself a love letter one day. Then I started my skincare routine.
That's so
because I definitely was not, doing that. So I just been doing like different each day. Do stuff like today was actually like extend grace to yourself. Like you're not perfect. You have to just extend grace to yourself. So each day, it's been something maybe not major, but it's still something. Like I think another day, like what are you grateful for? Or what are your major accomplishments? You know what I mean? So each day it's just been something different.
I like that. So what's the moral of your story? Or was that it?
I think the moral of my story, is to just whatever you in, know that you can come out of it, that you can heal from it, that you can make it. I know when I was in it, I thought I was gonna die. I don't mean like die like him kill me, but I think I just thought I was gonna die.
This is where I'm
die
at.
before, but just know that you always can come out of it. And I mean, 100%, I know it was God. 100%. Like, and I did in that story, I didn't give him glory, but I am gonna give him glory because of 100%. He is who helped me out of that. He is the one who gave me the strength to be able to overcome and the strength to endure while I was in it. And also in those periods of time, church was my place of freedom. Like I went to church every opportunity I could because that was where I could just be with God and I could just not have to worry about what was going on at home or whatever. Like that was my place of freedom. So I have to definitely say, trust God, know that he's there. He's never gonna leave you, and that when you are weak, you will be made stronger in him and in with his strength or whatever. But trust yourself. Listen to your instinct. Follow them. It's never gonna fail you because your instinct is really God, and him telling you and showing you or whatever. So you have to really listen to that and follow that, and don't let nobody tear you down so low, and love yourself, and just always do the work to be better and to be you, and not try to follow what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Like for me, in that time when he was tearing me down, kept calling me fat and all of that, whatever. What's wrong with me being a little bit thicker? There's nothing wrong with it. You liked me. You get what I'm saying?
You still do.
So it's just like some things we just have to just be like, you know what? Let it go, move on, or whatever. But I'm just thankful to be here, to be where I'm at now, and to be able to talk to other people about what I've been through without being ashamed anymore, because I hid it for a long time. Yeah. I was ashamed about it. I was embarrassed about it, but I had to understand that his character is not my character. And, what all he was doing was not a reflection of who I am.
That's good.
So just keep trusting yourself and believing in yourself.
I hope somebody take that story and be able to either share it with someone else or find some type of healing for themselves in that. And we appreciate your transparency. That was dope. So we gonna cut this episode, but make sure y'all come back for part 3, where we get a little deep. All right, y'all ready to close it out?
Let's close it out.
On then.